Any of the views expressed in this show do not represent the views or opinions of those participating. We are merely observers.
Please do not reenact any of the stories you hear on our show.
Being featured on our show is not something to be proud of.
And as always, please drink responsibly.
I got so many questions for you, man. So many questions. Get ready.
I'll try my best.
I will be making sure and keeping track of each of your responses.
Okay, do that.
So.
Do that. No pressure.
Thank you guys so much for listening to another episode of Laughs and Drafts. I am Jason Thomas, your resident fancy boy.
I'm Jared, your learning man.
And I'm Ethan. I'm the indecisive one on the names. With the names.
So Tim couldn't be here tonight with us. We are actually at Flat12 Brewery with Dylan Ray Coates, who is, what are you, a brewmaster? Is that what we call you?
I am not. I am just the GM of this location. The brewery actually is in Indianapolis.
Okay.
We're just a franchise of that. So we serve the majority of the beers that they brew in Indy.
Okay. So is there any kind of brewing that takes place here?
No, sir.
Brewing?
Originally, that was the plans when this place was forged, but something fell through. So for now, just brewed in Indy.
For now. So that leaves room for change.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Well, I really appreciate you taking the time, having us in. I know you're usually closed today, so
absolutely
letting 4 random guys come in and sit at a table with you, I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Sure.
So, the whole point today is really just to get to know your brewery better and get to know, what makes you all tick, in the scene. So I'll go ahead and I'm going to pick your brain with some questions here. So, what...
That's a tough question.
Yes,
that's a tough
question. My brain just immediately went blank. What was the first thing that really got... I'm trying to think of a good way to word this. What got you all into craft beer and brewing?
The brewing, they kind of just experiment new things each year, trying to go with new tastes, new flavors, new ideas. It's actually cool. I should have grabbed it. We got a schedule of about 70 different beers that they're going to brew this year.
Okay.
We have some input. We can kind of tell them what does well in this location, what doesn't. But for the most part, it's all up there, up north.
Okay.
The owner of this location, Sean O'Connor, he owned the brewery at one point. And they would come up with ideas together, different things to do. But now he's just independently the owner of this one. So we don't really have a lot of say-so or what you'll call it in the brewery part of it. It's kind of a separate entity. So yeah, I'm not the most knowledgeable of the brewery details themselves. I kind of just run the A to B business here. I didn't know if that was something that you guys...
No.
Yeah.
There goes all my questions.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. Okay.
Oh, no, you're good. Nothing else to say now. No.
Yeah.
But
Apologies.
what got you into, wanting to run a business here in really not... I guess it is local. Indiana still counts. If it's in the state, it's local.
I came here 2 years ago, just randomly. It was kind of hidden in plain sight. Didn't really know what the place was. It was a nice summer day. Came inside. They had the garage doors open. The music was playing. Great food. Just a cool little atmosphere. And I remember thinking, man, that place was really cool. I had no idea it was there. Had zero intentions in working here, ever. I was kind of... At the time, I was a store leader of a GameStop on Veterans Parkway.
Oh, man.
Opposite side of the spectrum.
Everybody's stepping stone.
Yeah,
Everybody
right?
hit the GameStop point at one point in time.
And that was cool for the time. And then, I just kind of wanted to take that next step, I guess you'll call it. Maybe try to step outside the comfort zone. It was always retail, and that gets repetitive.
Sure,
It's
absolutely.
fun. Retail, there's one thing I've ever learned in my life is retail is just the funnest.
Right.
It's people are so nice.
Yeah.
And
Makes sense the sarcasm, sir. No, it was terrible. It taught me a lot. I will give them credit. I learned a lot there at that job. But I just heard through the grapevine that they needed help here. So I came, interviewed, felt good about it. They didn't give me the job right away. They said, why don't you get your feet wet and come bartend for a little while.
Okay.
My very first shift was Thunder of last year.
Ooh.
Oh, Lord.
Wow.
So for those of you who don't know, Thunder is a post-apocalyptic wasteland which floods the exact area where this bar is located.
Yes, yes. So I left my shift at GameStop at Thunder, came here, got here about 5 o'clock, and did not stop moving till about 12:30.
Oh, my gosh.
And fell in love with it, to be
Yeah.
honest with you.
Well, I bet.
It just go, go, go. You see all kinds of different types of people, of course, especially on a day like that. But it was the exact opposite clientele that I would normally get at GameStop. So I started taking more and more shifts, and eventually they just offered me the GM spot, and haven't looked back yet. It'll be a year and a month.
Jeez.
Awesome.
Well,
Yeah.
That's
congratulations on your giant jump from
Yeah.
the service industry to another field of the service industry, but less crazy.
Yes, yes.
less people oriented. Oh, I guess it's still people oriented. There's just a whole new level when it goes to retail.
Absolutely.
It's the worst.
Yeah, I was happy to say goodbye to retail. But, to kind of touch back more on the brewery thing, I'm learning more about the brewing process. I've actually taken a trip up to the brewery in Indy.
Awesome.
Got a full
Sweet.
tour there. That was awesome. I highly recommend for you guys to go.
Sure.
Do
Do they offer tours?
They do.
Okay.
They do. And they kind of have a smaller version of what we have here
Yeah.
in there as well. So they have like a different menu as far as food goes, but all the beers are on tap. You can fill up your growler there. Unfortunately, we can't do that here because it's
Okay.
not brewed on site.
Okay.
But you can fill up your growler there, try some beers, and it's a great time. for
Yeah,
sure.
definitely.
Absolutely.
And that's something I think we'll be putting on our to-do list
Our lar-
to
yeah,
make
our
sure.
large to-do list that we have.
Everybody has one of those.
Well, we're trying to
Right.
really tackle this, a lot of breweries and as efficiently as possible. Because there's just now that we're kind of looking into it, and wanting to get around to see you guys, is that you're everywhere,
Absolutely.
and just in the area there's tons, and then over on the other side of the river there's tons there. So there's definitely a lot of work to do. But so you came here. I already forgot the time span. 2 years ago.
About a year.
A year ago?
Yes.
Okay, so a year ago. So, being here a year, what would you say is your favorite brew that
We've made.
that they've made?
It's a seasonal, which is unfortunate because I drink it every day. But it's a sour. It's called
Ooh,
the Psycho
wow.
Goes Beast. It's a Goza
Psycho
style.
Goes, yeah.
Yeah. So
We've had a couple of those on the show.
Yes.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
they were
They were not good.
No.
No.
The ones we had, of course,
Yeah,
I think
the ones
they-
that we tried.
it was key
Yeah.
lime
Ri-
pie.
Ri-
Oh.
Yeah.
Rheingeist? Was that?
No, it wasn't
No.
Ryan Guys.
Was it
We,
what-
we I think we did the same night as
Okay, it was
Ryan
the
Guys.
same night. Okay.
But it was. I can't remember what the actual company was, but man, it was bad.
Really?
It was.
Bad as in too sour, not sour enough, just bland.
It was.
In your words, I think it tasted like taint.
Oh.
Yeah, it tasted
some
like
lime?
somebody's taint
Some lime.
Wow.
with some lime, and that's key lime pie. And I like key lime pie, so that's
That's the wrong kind of sour,
yeah, it's
sir.
the wrong kind of
If anything, we've learned, I came into doing the podcasting thing as someone who liked beer, but one thing I've learned is that as we talked with another brewery, Gravely, over in Louisville before, and beers that you may not like in a can, when you try them on tap, or that's been brewed locally or by people who really know what they're doing, and it's like a completely different experience,
yeah.
And so I would like to try a Goza.
Yeah.
It's actually
So April. It's set to
April?
come out here in April.
Okay.
It'll last for hopefully 2 months. We'll get a pretty good supply of it. I'd love to have my own personal keg of it. To be honest, it's
Yeah,
very good. It's
sure.
very good. It's actually brewed with yogurt. Believe it or not.
oh wow,
Wow.
okay.
Yeah,
I-
fermented with
heard
yogurt.
that.
So
That's
um,
cool.
That's the first I've ever
Sour.
actually heard.
That's cool.
It's the sour. I don't question it. I just drink it. It's delicious. It's very good.
That's a good motto in life. Don't question, just drink it.
That's right.
I did find the name for that other one. Have you heard of Triton?
I have heard of Triton.
That's their Barn Phantom Goza.
That's right.
No
That's
good,
what that
huh?
was.
No,
Okay.
not good. Sorry, Triton. Try
Yeah.
again.
Is that the? Oh, that was the company. I thought you found another beer that you all did.
No.
No,
That-
no. I went through our lists that we put
Yeah,
together.
it was really bad.
Yeah.
We've had a couple really bad beers, and that's like Ethan said. That's one of the things that we're learning is going to these local establishments. Is that there's a lot of beer out there that is just bad ingredients, and they just try to. They market. I don't know how they market it. They'll specifically say like this beer is terrible. you're not going to like this beer.
That was a Stone.
That was Stone. I
Stone
think
was
that's
like-
their
yeah.
their slogan is like, you're not going to like this beer. And you're right.
Didn't really work out, huh?
I don't
That
like
was-
that beer.
I'd have to find it, but that was
You tried to get me to
specifically-
do IPAs. He specifically he gets IPAs. We do this little challenge every once in a while because I can't say I hate IPAs, but I really dislike IPAs. So he has me do a challenge where, he'll give me 2. I got to get right which one's which, and they're in the glass, so I don't know which one it is. And if I get it wrong, I got to chug the whole thing. Haven't lost yet.
Really?
So I've gotten it right both times.
Well, I think
but
also is that you dislike coffee so much, so I changed
Oh,
it up.
that's
So the last one I think
coffee,
was a stout. I think it was that we had 2 different stouts that we had.
And there's a stout that you all carry, correct? That's like Plinko?
Pinko.
Pinko.
It's a Russian Imperial Stout, and it is very popular. That's for sure. It's, like I said, more of a seasonal thing. We actually have some back there waiting to be tapped now from 2015.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's been sitting and brewing, so we're excited
sure.
about that. Probably tap it here in the next month or so. Every now and then, maybe twice a year, we'll do a Pinko release. We'll release probably 5 to 6 different Pinkos. We'll keep them on tap till they're gone. We'll have some growlers, not growlers.
Okay.
I guess you'll call them howlers. Half of a growler.
Yeah,
Yeah.
howlers.
Bottled, capped and everything that we'll sell here. They're great. We usually get a pretty big turnout whenever we release those. So I've learned that Pinko is something that Flat 12 is known for, that style of beer. People love it around here.
Yeah.
The
I
darker,
love
the better.
Russian Imperial stouts, man.
Yeah.
They're something else.
It's an acquired taste. For me, I
Yep.
kind of look at it like if you don't feel like drinking a lot of beer, but you want a quick buzz, you want a Pinko.
Yeah,
You
I'm
can-
showing 10.5%.
10.5%,
That's-
86 IBU.
yeah. Wow.
It is a kick. It is a kick, that's to say. But, some people can't get past that real thick taste. But again,
I
just-
really do think there is a level of, once again, like we've had Imperial Stouts. Like we had one just recently called Yeti.
Yeah,
Yep.
the Yeti.
Yeah,
The great
Call
Yeti.
from Colorado. Yeah.
Yeah, that was from Colorado. And it was a totally unique experience in the fact that everything that they described, about that beer, the different notes that you were going to get, different flavors you're going to get, I could completely pick apart and taste. And yes, I still got the bitter, like insane bitter. It's Imperial Stout, which for me is always like, I'm not like the best at bitter, so I do, I'm a wuss.
you like what you like.
There is a difference between that and like we've had Overlord, which is another one, which was just, it tastes like garbage water.
Too much.
Yeah, it's not blended well together. And to me, it's impressive when you can take all your ingredients and I can pick it apart.
Sure.
And
Like a fine bourbon.
yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. See, I'm more of a hard liquor person. I drink with a
I'm
mission.
getting there.
Yeah.
I'm more of a rye guy these days. Yeah. Yeah, I'm getting there, though.
It's the depression. The
Yeah.
depression and the problems that you're trying to just crush.
That's right.
But it's unfortunate. It comes for us all.
Were you already a beer lover coming into this position, or did it
Yes.
kind of grow on you? as you-
Well, both.
Okay.
Both. My beer knowledge was very minimal. It's grown since I've been here. But
Sure.
yeah, I was more into the sours and, occasional nice light beer. But now I'm kind of all across the board. Sometimes I'll be a stout guy. Sometimes I'll be IPA. Most of the time it's sours.
Yeah.
And as much as they change around here, it's kind of good because you'll try things you never thought you would.
Sure.
And most of the time it's like, But sometimes you find a nice beer that you would never dream of drinking and enjoying, but you do.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
it's grown. I'm trying to kind of expand that onto the liquor game, onto the wine knowledge.
Next step's heroin.
And I saw that
you got to stay the hell away
Flat
from
12 has
It'll get you.
it's a Hefeweizen that's aged in wine barrels. Is that correct? Or brewed in?
Well, we have a chalet right now that I believe, it's a wine barrel chalet. It's aged
Okay.
in Chardonnay barrels.
Okay, wow.
I have a Hefeweizen right now that's actually a Kiwi Hefeweizen that's
Yeah.
almost kind of sour. It's not bad. You definitely get the Kiwi.
Never
and
heard of that.
Hefeweizen being a light beer, or light to
And
me.
that's
kind of.
probably my favorite. I love Hefeweizen.
Yes.
So much.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's,
I saw that. I saw the kiwi on
Yeah,
there. I was like,
yeah.
that's got to be amazing.
And
that's one that I think, most people do it. They get it down to the T. and that's usually one style that you can pick apart and really enjoy. And I don't think I've ever had a Hefeweizen that was bad in my terms.
They say most, I think from what I've read, is that German beers, they are the hardest to master. You can make them fairly easy, but like to master them perfectly, they say can be extremely hard. So, yeah, anytime you get a good one, I always applaud the brewer, like the
sure.
brewmaster at Gravely, man.
That's something I'd like to get into is home
Yeah.
brewing.
Well, that's I think that's something that we're going to start kind of playing around with the idea of. Obviously there's a lot involved.
Sure.
And how as fun as it is to run any kind of lab out of your house, whether it's meth lab and or beer lab.
Lots of labs.
There's
Sure,
lots
sure.
of types of labs, lots of types of different clientele. But I think that would be something that'd be really interesting to do. I think my brother just recently he just started doing wine. And his get up is just these soda bottles filled with random liquids and balloons attached to the top of them that are half inflated. So it looks legit. Yeah, I mean, I'd
Mad
rather
scientist.
we're in the area for moonshine, so I feel like we really should just be doing moonshine. But so I mean, looking up there on your list, I see a couple that are really interesting that maybe if you can tell me a little bit about. The one in particular catching my eyes is a Rassle Frassle.
Rassle Frassle. So I've had that back there in the cooler for some time now. It's an Oktoberfest.
Oh, okay.
A little
Oh,
out of
nice.
season.
Yeah.
Little out of season. But it's going to be more of a brown ale, kind of malty, just that traditional Oktoberfest style. A little bit different. As you can see, the board's kind of dominated by some lighters, some Kolsch's. The darks are slowly but surely going to become getting out of season.
Yeah.
The winter times, people love their darks, their browns. It just kind of goes hand in hand, right? So hopefully, as the weather starts to progress and get better and better, we'll have a few darks, but predominantly it's going to be the lights. But the Rassle Frassle was just something back there kind of sitting that I figured, hey, why not throw it on tap? We ran out of the Pinko maybe 3 days ago. Unfortunately,
man.
yeah.
That
It
was the one I was-
Yeah, I know.
I was actually coming in thinking, I was like, you know what? I'm going to give it a go.
Sure.
I'm going to try that Imperial Stout and
You
we'll
would've
see what
loved it.
happens.
You would've loved it.
No doubt. I have no doubt in my mind that it
So
would have been great.
I had to replace it. I had to replace it with something. I said, why not throw the Rassle Frassle on there, keep it dark on, and try to keep people happy. And people love it. But like I said, it's kind of one of those things is you got to be in the mood for.
Yeah.
For sure. It's not a beer I could drink every day.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
but yeah, the Rassle Frassle, it's a funny name. That's
Yeah,
for
well,
sure.
that's
People
why I
ask
was
that.
looking up there, and I'm like going through everything I can kind of, get s'mores, milk stout, kiwi hefeweizen, craft light, which I'm not entirely sure what that one is, but Rassle Frassle, that's the one I was like, that sounds like someone's going
fun
to tickle
time.
me behind the bar or something like that.
I can assure you that's not what's going to happen.
Oh, well, my hopes can
Dylan?
only get
Yeah,
so
right.
high.
I will say the Craft Light is our version of like a Michelob Ultra. So somebody who comes in and wants to drink beer and lose weight at the same time, it's kind of not.
Oh, like
supposed
60
to-
calories
Yeah, well, it's
type.
under 100, so that's
Oh,
what we'll
nice.
give
Wow.
you.
Okay.
But yeah, that's
It's nice that places have an option, as you can tell by my...
you drink a lot of Craft Light.
Before I can even insult myself, you slid one in there. So it takes a special kind of skill. I appreciate that.
How would you compare that to a Michelob Ultra? Or
To be honest, I've never had a Michelob Ultra.
Okay.
Now a lot of people come in here and they ask about it, so it must be a damn good beer, or maybe it's just that it's so light they feel
Well-
like they're,
I mean, a lot of people like Budweiser, and
Right.
a lot of people like Coors Light. So, I mean,
yeah.
there's... You always got to take that with a grain of salt.
Sure,
You never
sure,
really
sure.
know.
I'd say it's probably lesser as far as if you have to drink a beer that's underneath 100 calories. I would say maybe not lesser to evils because I'm sure it's good.
I'm
Yeah.
sure this
But-
one's a lot better.
Yeah, a lot better.
People love it.
But-
People, when they ask for that, I hand them a sample of the Craft Light.
Sure.
Sure, pour me up is what they say. So,
Yeah.
it's
That's
not
awesome.
bad.
I mean,
Absolutely.
I hate to sound like a broken record, but if you want to lose weight, meth. Nope. It's a great option.
Yeah.
You don't eat a lot of energy.
I mean, a lot of the people that we talk about on our news stories, I mean, they all look like they're doing great. I mean,
Especially if they're in Florida.
yeah, exactly.
They,
yeah.
They're doing
I mean,
great.
I mean, it's got to be working. I mean,
So had you
all
guys-
the proof is right there.
Been here before?
No, I've
I
actually
haven't,
never been
yeah.
here. I live I'm over in Kentucky, but I'm pretty far out in Kentucky, so it's kind of a drive for me to get over here. But fortunately, well, you don't live here anymore, but you did.
No, I did. But no, I'm close. I'm close to the city. I'm off Brownsboro Road over
okay.
there, so not far away.
Are you still in this area?
Yeah, I'm
Okay,
still here,
cool.
yeah.
And had you been here?
I hadn't. I recognized when they said the name. I looked you all up, and I recognized like the labeling, and so I feel like I'd seen you somewhere.
Sure.
But I hadn't actually been here before.
See, that's the thing. We've been here since about 2014, and that's, we're kind of hidden in plain sight. We got the best view in all of Jeffersonville. I'm a little biased, but, summertime
well, I mean,
comes around.
No, it's
You got that. You got the brand new walking bridge, which
Right.
is like a disco ball over there.
Right.
You got the rising flood waters, which is fantastic.
A couple dead bodies floating out there.
Got dead bodies floating out there. Welcome to Ohio River.
That's
It's
right.
fantastic. Come in and get yourself a brew.
Absolutely.
So, if you're all right with it, we would like to try a couple of these beers
100%.
and kind of talk about them a little bit and get into what we do and do not like about them, and
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, let me get working on that.
All right, yeah, let's
How
go.
many different would you like?
as many as you can give us.
Okay.
Cool. Well, hold on there. Hold on. wait.
How much time you got?
No, no.
I don't got that kind of time.
No.
Jared's got that kind of time. I don't
do.
got that kind of time.
I don't, but I
yeah,
make
I
time
mean-
for the things that are important to me.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, just whatever you want to grab. You're the man. You know what's what. So I guess we'll go ahead and start with Downtown
Tinker Brown.
Tinker Brown.
Going to be more of a coffee style brew, so
Okay.
I don't know if you're going to be crazy about it. I've heard
Well-
how you are with coffee.
It's strictly coffee itself.
Yeah,
like
not chocolate. It's not.
it's
no, it's not.
and
those notes.
it's not even like the coffee taste, because there's, I've had coffee that I enjoyed. It's just burnt beans.
Sure.
What sociopath is drinking that?
Yeah.
Anyways, I'm gonna go try it. But see, once again, like I'm able to pick it apart. I do get instant coffee. You get a nice blend of hops, and then still ends on like a coffee like note that lingers, and you
That's
get like
strong
aroma.
coffee flavor.
Yeah, I mean it's
That's awesome. That's
it's
really
well
good.
blended though, and that's the thing that always impresses me is, yeah, I mean I'm not going to be like slamming that down by the pint,
Sure.
but I can at least appreciate when something's been
A lot of
That's
people
not
are
a-
scared away by the color, but it's,
Really?
It's dark, but not a very thick beer.
Is it?
You know.
It's not as dark as most coffee that you find, most coffee beers that you find. Usually those things are like solid black.
Yeah, I totally. Is it a stout or is it a brown ale?
That's going to be a stout.
This
from
is a
my
stout?
understanding,
Really?
yes.
That's very good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's really good. And the
I think
color-
what
like the
I enjoy
colors.
about that most, and that is it has a nice aftertaste, but it's not so strong that you're tasting it for like the next 5 minutes. You're
Right.
wanting to come back and
It's
like
not
take another drink. and-
lingering.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And it I think one of the biggest things is, especially for a stout, it is, a fairly light. So, that's something that I could, if I was going to be pounding down 2 or 3 pints of that, I could easily do it.
Well, it's, and you can correct me on this, but it's crisp and it's refreshing, so it makes you want to keep coming back. It's not like something super heavy, even though it is a stout. So that, hey, I want another one of those.
Right.
Keep them coming.
Right.
Yeah.
Just that coffee, man, it's
Yeah.
You know
it's
what?
strong coffee.
Just because I don't want to BS, I'm completely wrong. It's a brown ale.
That's
It
okay.
is a brown ale.
Okay.
Oh, no.
I don't want to
Oh, you're
offend
good.
anyone, but it's a
they'll
seasonal
come for you.
collaboration with the local partners. I'm assuming in Indy.
I read about
the
this
Tinker
one, yeah.
Coffee Company. So yeah, with milk sugar and brewed with the high quality single origin coffee beans.
Yep.
So
Has
yeah,
lactose sugars in it.
Yeah.
I love lactose
There's
sugars.
apologies to the stout lovers out there.
Oh, you're
Oh,
good, man.
man, they're coming for you. They're the angriest bunch too, man. The angriest bunch. Since we are mentioning stouts, I do see a stout in here.
Yeah.
So s'mores.
That is a milk stout, sir.
That is a milk stout.
Ooh.
So this one I was actually excited about when I looked at the thing. The wall.
Marshmallows and chocolate and all the feathery bunnies and everything that you can think of.
Turns out they're all black on
Man.
the inside.
Yeah.
Sounds like premarital sex in a camp. Fantastic. I've got nothing much to say. Just take that, please.
Okay.
That one's much stronger, though.
Yes.
It is. It's definitely much stronger.
That one's really popular.
Really?
For whatever reason, people love it. I think the name really grabs about 70% of people. S'mores.
Well,
Who doesn't like s'mores?
Yeah.
And then you
Nazis.
right.
Nazis don't
absolutely.
like
And we're not Nazis here.
Somebody who
so-
doesn't is in prison, and there's a reason for that.
war criminals.
I know particular, like milk stout specifically, can bring a lot of people too. For some reason, add milk at the beginning of stout. I don't know.
It's still like that one is, you know, it's
It's
very
really
good. It's on still like it doesn't sit. It's not like syrup.
Sure.
It's you know that's still something that I could.
It's funny
easily
because
go-
it tastes just as good as
Yeah,
syrup,
as
but it's like you don't feel it.
Yeah.
all the
Have one
all
for
the
breakfast.
joys of sitting under a table by myself with a thing of Hershey's chocolate, just pounding it down.
It's coming back to
Yeah,
me.
it's coming back, man. Brings me back to when I was a kid. What do you think?
That's really good. That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, it's actually it's quite good.
I'm not getting this one back.
That's what we got
Okay.
next.
Fine then.
What's on the next on the smorgasbord of beers?
Why don't you
So-
go a little
Yeah,
lighter?
why don't you guys pick something?
Can I hit the Hefe? I want kind of
The
yes.
kiwi.
Yes.
That one. There you go.
So again, kind of sour, but not meant to be a sour. It's
For
gonna
sure.
obviously kiwi's a little tart. To me, I almost get it on the back end,
Oh my
not
God,
so
you
much
can
the
smell
front,
kiwi in that.
but it's
Yeah.
great.
I'm so happy right now.
I know you look so. There's so much
So happy right now.
If you had a tail, it'd
That
be
was
wagging.
really good.
Wow. Yeah, you definitely. The aroma is straight kiwi.
I love
Do you-
wheat beers.
Do you
in
smell
general.
any banana or any clove still, or is the kiwi like?
I feel like you can
so
get the banana
strong?
in there still.
Can you?
The kiwi adds definitely the extra kick of sweetness.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to get around that.
It's hard to get around the kiwi. It definitely is so weird.
It's good. That's
It's
awesome.
very good, but that's you get the sour.
Absolutely.
There definitely is that.
a very slight like kick in the jaws.
Right.
Just
It's
Yeah.
not overbearing to where it's like, oh, that's like
Yeah.
a warhead. It's too much.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
And that's what, once again, I like. It's you get it, you feel it here in your jaw,
And it's gone.
and then it's gone.
So I love that feeling in
That's a good one for
now,
sure.
to me, that's a great sour. I mean, even though it's not a sour, I'm going to call it a sour. The sour mango, though, that's more of a traditional sour where you get that punch. That's probably the sour mango is probably my favorite right now.
Color is very similar to that kiwi hefeweizen. This is the sour. Yeah, this is the
Yes,
sour
sir.
mango. Now this isn't a hefeweizen, correct?
Correct.
Like what blend or what brew would this be considered? You know.
Almost like did you ever drink? Well, I guess you wouldn't have drank. I think a wit beer.
Okay.
Wit beer, Witbier, wit beer.
that sounds really familiar.
Right. Not too familiar with it in another blend besides that.
Oh wow,
But
that's
I'm
different.
pretty sure that's
Okay.
what it's referred to.
I'd have to look it up again. I think it just means. I think it's just wheat based. If I'm not sure. Not. Maybe German.
That's good. That's different. I don't know if I've had a beer quite like that.
More sour though, right?
Yes, very. Yeah, definitely.
I don't get a lot of aroma from it. It's not as like
Potent.
potent as the other one. I was going to say kick you in the face is the other one, but
I'd say it has more
that's
of a.
that's a
works
better
too.
you
when
know.
you drink it, it definitely has
word
a
to
little bit more of a
describe that.
kick. Pow.
Although strangely enough, I think I like this more.
Really?
Yeah.
I think the flavor is definitely a bit stronger on that. It's not as subtle.
Now the cycle goes beast. You guys definitely have to come back April-ish
Okay.
and give that a
Sure.
try. That's a sour.
So that's a spring, more of a spring
Yes,
bird.
sir.
Yeah.
Delicious. So good. I like them super, super tart.
Now, since your big thing right now is sour, I'm sure you like cider, all kinds of cider, right?
Yes. Yeah. They're not bad. Almost a little too sweet.
Too sweet.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you get somebody that comes in here and they're used to drinking wine or they're just not very familiar with beer, typically get them a cider.
Okay.
And
Thought you were
blueberries
gonna
and
say you fight
apples. Yeah, I'm ready to fight. But yeah, it's just not my cup of tea, I guess you would say. They're good for sure. I'd like to start selling meads.
Absolutely, yes.
I want to get
that's-
meads in here.
That's
that
so
would
hard.
be a
They're
weird
so hard to find.
niche market to kind of get into.
Well, there's a lot as far as distributors carry them. It's just not
Okay.
so popular
Gotcha.
in this
Okay.
area. But for some reason, they're telling me, hey, meads, people down the street, they got meads. People love them.
Okay.
well,
So the last one that I managed to get like in a brewery or in a restaurant somewhere was at the Holy Grail,
Okay.
and they had a mead there. But again, it was like we've got like one.
Sure.
But yeah,
Yeah.
that'd be cool. Meads would
It's-
be great.
yeah, and that's something I think we've had one on our show. We've had the Rethinker.
Yeah, that was technically a mead, wasn't it?
Yeah, blueberry. And
I've never had one. I just hear great things, and I don't know that we've ever carried one. Maybe we have.
and
you know.
it's honey, right?
It's all basically all honey.
And it's smooth. It
Mhm.
is one smooth beer. It is very sweet though. I think that's something. If you think cider is too sweet, I think mead will still be on the sweet side for you.
Sure. More or less for the people who, have never even tried one. I'm sure there's plenty of people out there like me. What's a mead? Someone
I
had
think
to literally
they
explain.
I think
Well, that's
they hit
something you drink
hard,
after
too.
pillaging.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I think they hit a little bit harder too. Like they're a bit stronger.
Really?
What
They
they,
can be.
taste like, and they're easy to drink, but they're actually surprisingly like a bit stronger
Yeah,
than
that-
your
It will
average
sneak
beer.
up on you.
That cider is 6.8%.
Wow.
So it's like
That
drinking
is-
sugar, and you have zero idea that it's kicking
Wow.
you, but it is
That is pretty
all the
strong.
way down.
Before you know it, pantsless out in the river.
That's right.
It was the Rassle Frassle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's
Go for
go
that
ahead
one?
and try the Rassle Frassle.
It's right there.
Oh, so you're making me
Yeah,
take it?
making you do it.
definitely looks like October.
That amber color.
That's right.
Mhm.
I get kind of roasted notes from the smell. Not crazy strong though. That's really interesting. I'm surprised you said that one's not crazy popular.
It's a seasonal thing. Again, it seems like when people are in that October state of mind, that's all they want is Rassle Frassle. But for whatever reason, lately,
It's,
it's for whatever
it's
reason.
Halloween. Give me some
Yeah.
Rassle Frassle. Yeah, it's definitely. I would say I'd prefer that over like most Oktoberfest beers that I've tried. It's well balanced. The hops are super well balanced.
That's a good one. Yeah, definitely. That's a good go-to beer. Like if you don't know what else to have, that would be a good one. Just a good default.
Really, I think that it's good all year long. It's got, I don't know exactly what's in it, but I taste spices and
Yeah. And you said this one.
It's
This
so
one is
flavorful.
all year, or is it seasonal?
Seasonal.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
gotcha.
That is something I could do on middle of July when it's hot
Mm-hmm.
outside and I'm sweating. It's like a swamp. It's like I got in a swimming pool with my clothes on. Which is like what it's like when I come out here to Thunder, which is why I don't come to Thunder.
It's rough.
Absolutely.
Man. So before we go on to the next round, a couple beers, is there any like special nights that you all have or like special events that you all have?
We're working on that. We used to do trivia on Thursday. The weather just killed that.
Oh, well.
It's just not a lot of people want to come right next to the river when it's super cold out. You got the wind chill from the river coming in.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about you guys, but if I didn't have to be here, I'd probably never leave my house with all the cold.
Yeah.
You know what I
Well,
mean? It's
that's
not very
true.
motivating to go out and do trivia. So we're looking to bring that back hopefully in the summertime. But we're thinking about having like a card night here,
that'd be cool.
one day of the week, maybe one day when it's slow, having people come in here and maybe even a poker tournament, and we'll have a raffle off like
That'd be
a
fun.
gift card, something like that.
Sweet.
We'll have live music all the time during the summertime.
Wow.
When we lift the garage doors here, it's perfect. So yeah, I actually had a guy reach out to me about a week ago. He's a Elvis impersonator.
Oh,
I'm huge on Elvis.
okay.
Love Elvis. Love all the old school music. So I'd like to bring him in sometime. We got like a bluegrass group that'll come in from time to time. So kind of all across the board. Our clientele is typically, anywhere from our age to 60s, 70s. So it's all across the board. So try to mix it up.
So no black metal bands yet.
I'll take them.
I'll take
I'll
them.
give them a chance.
Oh
I'll
man,
give them a chance.
You know
Yeah.
what? I was in the dark electronica scene. I can bring some weird stuff. So let's go ahead and we'll have to definitely make it out here one of
No,
these nights,
absolutely.
especially during the summer, because we walk the bridge all the time, and we come over to like right at that point where we can see Indiana.
Sure.
We just look at you like animals.
You wave.
I don't even wave. I
Oh,
just,
it's like that. Sure.
just you can't see my face right now, but I'm giving an angry face. Just look at them with disgust. No, it's like that. We never walk all the way down though. For some reason, we always just go right to the thing. We stop. But now that we know this is here, I mean, that's walking distance. We can make the afternoon out of that. Just park over there, walk across the bridge, and
Absolutely.
hang out.
And the food's fantastic. We haven't even talked about the food.
Oh yeah.
Food's
So
great.
what kind of foods do you have?
All across the board. To give you
Human?
a little insight, what'd you say?
You got people meat?
Yeah, yes, yeah, absolutely. Keep it in the back. When I first started here, it was just flatbread pizzas, tater tots, and pretzels. Your typical bar food, right? We expanded. So within the past 7 months, we kept the flatbreads, but we added street tacos. We have a
street
pulled pork
tacos.
sandwich, a ribeye sandwich, a portobello mushroom sandwich. We have huge portion appetizers. We still have, I think we have the best wings on this block. Cluckers, anyone around that's actually known for their wings, I think we put them to shame. They're great. They're apple smoked wings. We got like buffalo barbecue, anything you can think of. They're delicious. It's probably my favorite.
Wow.
So definitely expanded in the food range. You kind of have to.
Yeah,
for sure.
sure.
People love a spot to come and drink, but when they get hungry, they want to be able to eat in the same location. And
You had me at street tacos, man.
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, that's a close second. That's a close second for me.
I
for
can.
sure.
When I die, man, that's what you're all not going to bury me, and you're going to chop me up and make me into street tacos. You can, man. I'm sure you can get a pretty penny
delicious.
for some human tacos. So let's go ahead and get into a next beer. This one, we'll go ahead and try Craft Light. So we talked about this one being
Okay, yeah.
similar to, was it Michelob?
Ultra.
Yeah.
Michelob Ultra. I've never
One
had
of those
one.
low-cal beers.
It's different. I don't know how to describe it. It's light beer, but it's not disgusting.
It's not water.
That's it. Yeah.
I think the trick with this one is you make it so easy to drink that you just get 6 of them instead of just the one. You know what I mean? So it just makes them think
it's-
they're being healthier,
That is
but
the
you're
plan.
really just getting more money out of them.
Yeah.
It's good, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm quite surprised. I had picked that one up, kind of
That's
being
not bad
like,
at all.
dreading it.
I mean, as I expected, I would take that over an Ultra or some of the other like alternatives.
Jared's looks like he's having a stroke.
Burnt toast.
Smells like eggs. Does anybody else smell eggs? Oh Jesus, I'm dying.
It doesn't have that like lingering bad taste.
No, and that's
That
what usually
a lot of light
I
beer.
use the word piss water
Yeah.
because you drink it and it's just like, and it sits, and you get that lingering taste of just, it just tastes like piss, and I would know. So, but that's
We drink piss
once
all the
again
time.
very sterile, and I like the taste. I mean, it's once again very well balanced. Hits all the right notes. Doesn't linger for very long. It just kind of fades out and kind of leaves you wanting more. So, impressed. Once again.
Good.
See, and that's the thing. I find out when I come to these places, it's like I actually enjoy beer.
That's the thing. We don't definitely want to like mislead anybody who's listening, and that like we're like, oh, all of these are great, and secretly we're like, oh, puking in the background. I would order every one of these beers.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
No, we
I-
straight up told on
Yeah.
our show like this
Yeah.
sucks.
So-
It's garbage.
That was probably a disclaimer that you didn't get. Is that if we do not like a beer, I mean, we'll make it, clear that it's like I don't like it, and I'm very, very vocal about what I do and do not like, especially with beers, because I feel like now that I've gotten to know that there is decent beer out there, that it's laziness. It's laziness and bad ingredients, and a lot of IPAs are like they're culprits of that, of just being.
Super
Hey, look,
hoppy.
it's this new beer that we have, and it's made of, my cat urine and, tonsils. It's great tonsil stones in there, but I mean, you drink it and it's just like, oh God, this is horrible. And it feels like most things with like the music and art community, you're just staring at stuff that's selling for billions of dollars, and you're like, this is a joke, right? Am I taking crazy pills? Because this is terrible. Why is everybody drinking this? So, but I mean, it's been real interesting going through this. I haven't hit one yet that I didn't like.
Good.
So
So
you
what's
chose
this
well.
one? What's the Chalet? WB?
That's going to be your wine barrel Chalet. That's the
Okay.
one that's aged in Chardonnay barrels.
Okay.
So wine lovers, I'll recommend that to someone who's not, beer's not their go-to, but they love wine.
Sure.
So
Okay.
you say
Oh,
Chardonnay,
I do love wine.
he usually sells them.
Once again,
Instant wine.
Right?
Yeah, right away.
Absolutely.
That's cool. Even just the smell.
Mm-hmm.
oh yeah, it definitely just smells like wine.
That's cool.
That's cool. That's interesting.
I had no idea you were a wine drinker, that you liked wine.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, that's really good,
So
man.
do you drink white or red?
Red, usually. That's what
Usually.
I go for. That's probably my favorite so far.
I didn't expect that at all.
You get like fruit notes in there. That is so well balanced.
A lot of distilleries are starting to age their bourbon in wine barrels.
Oh yeah.
We went. I took a tour over at Peerless,
Oh,
which is
yeah.
over on 10th Street,
Okay.
and that's, I believe they said that's they do some of their bourbon in wine barrels,
Nice.
kind of
Wow.
soak in all those.
Absolutely.
So yeah, it's
that's impressive. Usually when I hear, I don't think we've never had a chalet, have we?
No.
We've had a saison.
Saison,
Is
which
that
is
counts?
I don't. I'm gonna brain fart. I actually can't remember exactly.
It was the
I
tax
think
man.
it's, yeah. Well, I think it's
That
just
one was
aged.
that one was different. Yeah.
Yeah, but I can't remember if it's actually wine barrels or it's something else. So.
Well, the taxman, I think they used part of the winemaking process of like.
They use grape musts,
Yes, that's what it was. Yeah.
and we had to Google what musts was because none of us knew. Oh, obviously that one was good because we got nothing back. So we've got one last beer. This one says rasp, so I'm assuming raspberry.
Raspberry Kolsch.
Raspberry Kolsch.
That's gonna be a.
This one is a nice pinkish red.
Mm-hmm.
So
I like Kolsch
Very
beers.
divisive on Kolsch.
I can't get into them, man. I hate
Either
saying
you
that while
hate
you guys
'em
are
or
drinking
you
them
love
right now. I just
Yeah.
that's definitely.
they're light, but there's not much, to me at least. There's not much of a punch. It's almost like a
That's
It
the
is-
same thing I'd say.
It ends on raspberry, but you don't get anything until the end.
right.
There's
So-
nothing wrong with that, but it's just a preference.
No,
you
it's
know?
definitely that's
Sure.
something that I could pound
Did you?
15 of on a hot summer day. Yeah, Dove, man, it smells just like raspberry. Colored raspberry smells like raspberry.
We have a mango Kolsch too. That's probably way more popular, but for whatever reason, if I had to choose, I'm more partial to the raspberry.
Raspberry.
Yeah, I think it's the color. When you pour that, people just get excited.
Oh, it's peak beer.
Yeah, right.
Sign me
Get
up.
that citrus raspberry right at the end. But yeah.
And it's not bad. Like you get, I think the bitter up front, which still well balanced, doesn't linger very long. But it hits you at the end. You get raspberry, and it just kind of lingers on your tongue.
I think out of all of them, that would probably be my least favorite.
Sure.
Yeah. Jared
I
pulls
wanna
out his
love it.
chemistry set.
I want to love it. There's nothing wrong with it. I can appreciate the really good fruity notes and like it's
Yeah.
full. It's just it's just a preference thing.
I hear you.
But it doesn't mean it's bad
Yeah.
by any.
No, that's one of the things that surprised me. Like the s'mores, it's probably my least favorite out of all of them. But still, it's good beer. I would order it on a
Like,
I would
it's-
pay however much it is per glass.
Yeah.
I order beer time to time. I know how much it costs.
But that's also the point is that we, even though we're like, oh, I really don't like this. Like a lot of times we're like, it is made well and its description matches it, and that's what we've covered. Even if we have like, oh, that's my least favorite. It's like we can appreciate everything that's in it, and then how you describe it or what it says. It's like, oh, that actually tastes like what you said it is.
Yeah.
So
We had one that was it was from a German brewery. It was smoky. It was a smoky beer.
Smoke beer.
And it was a smoked beer, but that it wasn't good. But it was exactly as they advertised it.
Too much smokiness.
Oh man, it's
Heavy,
It
like-
was like straight
yeah.
eaten beef
Like
jerky.
like liquid
Sounds
smoked.
good.
Yeah.
Sounds like a good idea, but it's a fine line on what's.
Yeah, it was overwhelming. Yeah.
Spent too much time thinking if we could, not if we should.
And what was
Sure.
the other one? It It was from Zwanzig's in Columbus. It was a ghost
pepper. Ghost pepper chocolate.
That one was a weird experience because you're tasting the beer part of it, and you're like, "This is actually really good," but then it's burning the back of your throat.
Yeah.
I had a mango habanero. I'm trying to remember who made it. Man, it was good.
Yeah.
It was sweet and then burned your throat at the
Burned
your
end.
throat.
And it's almost like, oh man, it was fantastic.
Sure.
And not everybody liked it. As a matter of fact, everybody I let try it, hated it. But I love
Fair
it.
enough. I'll
There's
take it.
something, I think that's, spicy sweet is a very fine line, which I'm seeing is starting to catch on. I'm seeing spicy Skittles now as a thing.
Wow.
No, it doesn't sound
Yeah,
good
I
at
don't
all.
know. I mean, you'd think it doesn't sound good, but
Well, I
then
might
you
have
get
to
into
pick
it.
up a bag on my way home then. 'cause-
Yeah. Just dive right in, Jared. Well, Dylan, it's been real. It's been fun. We really appreciate you taking the time
Absolutely.
to let us in on a closed night and show us some of your wares. Definitely was quite enlightening, and there is some fantastic beers here. So anybody who lives in the Kentuckiana area, and I know 90% of our listener base is based out of the Kentuckiana area, get down here, try some beers. It's right here on the river, and I say right here on the river. The floodwaters are rising right now, so it is very close. It's not that close. You got a good street, you got a good block before it is, but you never know. It's supposed to rain like this whole next week, so
We'll definitely be back. Me and Ben
yeah,
will
we'll be back,
for sure.
especially for
Try
those
some of your food.
Yeah,
Some of the
street
tacos.
tacos.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean street tacos.
It's delicious. I appreciate you guys coming. You guys are welcome back anytime.
Thanks,
Feel
man.
free to spread the word. And yeah, come back and try some food.
Oh, definitely
For
will.
sure.
Definitely will.
I am Dylan Coates, General Manager of Flat12 Bierwerks, and you are listening to Laughs and Drafts Podcast.